Today we are speaking about Screen Forever, and I would like to begin that conversation by acknowledging the Gadigal people, traditional custodians of the land where I am today. I am humbled to walk through this land. I am humbled to be to work here and to play here and live here. I acknowledge the continuing connection to land, to water and community, and I pay my respects to the people, culture and elders of that land, and to the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people on this call today. Always was and always will be. So today's the day where the Screen Forever program has been announced. It's live on the website. So we wanted to create an opportunity for anyone who hasn't been to Screen Forever before to get a sense of how it works and what to expect. It can be a pretty overwhelming experience. There's 1,000 people in a very well, not that tight space, but in the space, all walking around, and everybody seems to know everybody, and maybe you don't know anybody, or maybe you know one person, and it can feel pretty overwhelming. So it's a good idea to talk about how it works and how the program works and understand some of the things that you might encounter and how to move through the space and all those sorts of things, what facilities there are, and what type of events there are. So that's our goal for today. The program, Screen Forever, is a conference. It is also a market. And what that means is we have two areas, the area where the conference is held and the area where the market is held. They run in parallel, but they operate in two different ways. In the conference area, that's where we're having panels and there's people up on stage talking, whereas in the market area, that's where we might have, one-on-one pitch sessions happening. We might have round tables with, say, a buyer and people who've booked those meetings to sit on that round table. With the market, that area, those meetings are generally pre-booked through the website, whereas with the conference, your ticket gives you access to all of the sessions and the social events. So to start with, we'll have a look at the program, which is currently on the website. So I'm going to share my screen. And you can see what we're looking at. So, as you can see, the conference runs across 3 days, Tuesday the 28th of April, Wednesday 29th, and Thursday the 30th. On the first day of the conference, we have one stream of sessions. We don't have multiple sessions to choose from. And on day one, we focus the conference on those really big discussions about state of the industry. We generally have key leaders from the industry to present, and the conversations are quite visionary in their focus, and looking forward to that, to the future, and those thought leadership type of discussions. On day one, it starts at 1 p.m. So you have the morning to kind of find your feet, to go and, check into the hotel if you're staying in the hotel, to go and collect your registration. Registration does open at, what does say, 9 a.m., I think. Don't quote me on that, but it will come up when you log in on the website. So you've got a bit of time to find your feet on that very first day before the first official events of the day begin. As the day goes on, we don't have any market events going on that day one either. That is all just that one day of events. In the evening, we have the opening night drinks, and that is, of course, open to everyone. Finding that pool area can be challenging, so please make sure that you either ask one of the volunteers. There'll be volunteers around everywhere who can help you with advice, or there will be signage around as well. So please find your way to the drinks. It's well worth it. It usually goes off pretty hard, I would say. When we go to days 2 and 3, things shift up a little bit. So I thought actually first we might have a quick look at, for anyone who doesn't yet have tickets, the different types of tickets that there are. So we have a 3-day badge, which gives you access to all those 3 days that you just saw. But we also have, and I should note there that there is a spa member price, and there is also a non-spa member price. So obviously it's a pretty significant discount if you're a spa member, and that does include associate members. As you can see, there's also the industry day badges and the day wristbands. That gives you access to the conference for the day that you select. So the difference between the two, as you can see, if you buy the 3-day badge, what you get for that is access to all panels, access to the market, access to apply to the roundtables and to pitches, access to the Spire Awards and the gala party afterwards. It also gives you access to an app called Broadcast Intel for free up until the end of Screen Forever. And if you're not aware of it, Broadcast Intel is an online app that lets you look up, what commissioners are commissioning cooking shows, or what commissioners are looking for thrillers right now, and where they've agreed to provide it. Then there's contact details for those commissioners, and then what production companies they've worked with, and so on. So you can do a bit of research about projects that you are developing. If you have a 3-day gold pass, that also gives you access to all of the social events and food and meals, of course. On day 1, that includes afternoon tea. On day 2, that includes morning tea, lunch, and afternoon tea, and same on day 3. If you've got a day pass, so you can see here, it gives you access to the conference sessions for that day. And if you select a day pass for the Thursday, which is the last day of the conference, it also gives you access to the Spire Awards and the gala party, and all the events on that day. It doesn't give you access to the market. If you choose a day where you don't want to go to the social events, you just want to attend the conference, or you don't want to attend the party, the Spire Awards or the party, then you can also choose the day wristband. So as you can see, there's a few cost-friendly options available. Now that I've blocked my screen, let's have a quick look at the program again. We are announcing more sessions. So the program that is out today isn't absolutely everything. We've got some little surprises up our sleeve that we want to kind of drip feed out to everyone. So feel free to subscribe to the newsletter, and Andrew's going to pop a link up into the chat if you would like to subscribe and keep on top of news and announcements relating to Screen Forever. That will be the source of those new announcements as new speakers are added. So moving on to, we talked about day 1. Let's have a quick look at day 2. Day 2 starts with the Screenwrites Speed Networking Hour. that is open to everyone, and it's a really great opportunity to connect with people and to bring people together to meet and greet, and perhaps it's new people, perhaps it's people we've met before, but it's a really good opportunity to make those connections. Then as the day goes on, you can see the program kicking in. So there'll be some times of day where we have up to 4 sessions to choose from at any one time. That does vary throughout the day. There are some sessions where we think that there's going to be it's going to be extremely popular, so we'll try not to program anything against that. You can see that there'll be some great sessions around this year. We're talking a lot around revenue and opportunities to build partnerships with co-production partnerships and connections with global buyers, because as we all know, the world has changed and now we're looking much more outwards. So there's a lot of sessions that will be touching on those aspects. Also on day 2, we will have the Simpsons pitch competition. So if you haven't seen that in any of your news, it's been on if.com and it's also been in our newsletters. If you have missed it, what it is, Simpsons have sponsored this pitch prize where for a feature film, if you have a credit as a producer on a feature that has been distributed in Australia, you can apply for a project that you have in development now. The prize is $10,000 toward progressing your project to that next level of development. There's also $3,000 worth of legal services. And there's also, we will set up some meetings with you depending on what you need for your project to progress. We will set up some meetings for you on day 3 of Screen Forever with people who can help you progress your project. So it's incredibly valuable prize, and we encourage everyone who is eligible to apply. Applications close on, I want to say, March 22nd. And then we will go through a process. We've got some external assessors who will cull the applications down to a short list of 4. Then on day 2, the final 4 will pitch live on stage to the jury. No pressure. And the winner will be selected live on stage. So it's a really great opportunity. Don't miss out if you are eligible. And Andrew, can you pop a link up to the application form for that in the chat, please? As we go through day 2, you can see we've got quite a few sessions. On day 2 at lunch, I believe SBS are sponsoring a gelato cut. I don't want to give any secrets away. If I'm giving secrets away, maybe I am. So that would be a lovely way to work off all the humidity that's in Queensland that time of year. And then at the end of the day, we have the Mayor's Sunset Social. So the City of Gold Coast Mayor sponsors this event, and there will be a little speech and then drinks. Everyone is invited to that, so don't miss it. Another great opportunity to connect with people in a less formal way. And we move on to day 3. So day 3, we kick into, actually, did I talk about, we've got some sessions that I still haven't mentioned yet, still to come. They're not listed there yet, but they will come. Day 3, really exciting one, is Goolagong, the ABC series. That'll be a great one to catch. It's really worth taking your time to go through the program and map out what are the things I really want to see and what are the things I really, really, really don't want to miss. And if you're setting meetings, to try and coordinate around that and take the time to actually set a program, because otherwise it can feel quite overwhelming. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of people. and you're in a relatively big space, so take the time to have a plan so that it doesn't feel too overwhelming. Moving on. There'll be lots of opportunities to hear from commissioners. As you can see, we'll have the ABC, we'll have Paramount, Foxtel, SBS, 9, Stan, representing their networks and talking about what it is that they're looking for. So don't miss those sessions. They're usually very popular. We end the day on day 3 with red light, green light. So if anyone was there last year, you will remember this. It was very, very popular. It's a game show style session where creators are live, creating a show live and pitching it live to the commissioners, and the commissioners are there going, yes, no. It's a lot of fun. We are injecting a big twist into it this year, which I can't tell you yet. It's going to be a surprise, but it'll be a lot of fun, one not to be missed. After afternoon tea, we have a little break so that everyone can go away and get all dolled up for the SPA awards. And yes, people do get dolled up, but not everyone. So don't feel like if getting dolled up is not your thing, do not feel like you have to. But there are plenty of people who do. Everyone is invited. Everyone who has a ticket for that day is invited to the SPA awards, or if you have a 3-day pass. There is a red carpet, and the awards follow that. And then after the awards, we all head out to the gala party, which is usually a lot of fun. Lots of sore heads the day after. Friday morning, everyone has a bit of a sleep in and heads home. That covers the program. I would like to hand over to Steph Dower. Steph is going to go through, we try to set up a few guardrails and supports and opportunities for anyone in need of accessibility options, and Steph's going to speak to those.
Thanks so much, Kristen. That's an exciting program. I'm just looking at it for the first time now, and I'm keen for everything on offer. Hey everyone, thanks so much for being here. Yes, as Kristen mentioned, I am the events accessibility coordinator, so I'm available if any of our delegates or potential delegates, maybe you're deciding whether it's an event that you want to come and participate in. So I'm available for any questions around how we can make it an accessible event for yourself. We do have some information around accessibility. We'll also find my contact details on our website. I think Andrew's going to pop a link in the chat for you all. On there, you'll see that we do try to include some general accessibility for everyone. So the venue itself, which is the Star Gold Coast, at the event center within the Star, it is a generally pretty accessible event from a physical point of view. It's all level access. If there's any inclines in that, there's all ramps available. Wayfinding, we try to put up as much signage as we can. As Kristen also said, we do have volunteers available who should be distinctive in their volunteer t-shirts. So they'll be able to assist with any navigating around the event space as well. We do on day 1 for the plenary sessions and also for the SPA Awards, we do have Auslan interpreters available for those sessions. And we will reserve some seating towards the front of the venue to ensure anyone who needs that Auslan interpreting to have good visual access to that. We do also ask any videos that our session producers supply for their sessions. We do ask them to be captioned, and I guide them on how to provide the best captions. And generally, the last few years, we've had really great support on that from our event producers or session producers. And then we do, this is something that I think a lot of people don't realize they necessarily need access to. But as Kristen said, it can be a very overwhelming 3 days. Very exciting, but also very overwhelming. So we do offer a low sensory quiet room available as well. This is a quiet space with soft lighting, seating available where people can go and just decompress for a few minutes if they want or longer. We ask that no one does any work in this space in terms of conversing, or this is not a space where people can go and have quiet meetings. No, this is a space for you to take some time out, remove yourself from the hustle and bustle outside, pull it all together before you head back out and enjoy the rest of the event. So we do have those general accessibility uh, features available. But if you have anything specific that you would like to discuss, for example, if you're participating in any of the Spa Connect meetings or Spa Market meetings, and you have some accessibility requirements around that, I'm happy to have a chat to you and we can work out what's going to be best for you. As well, if you're participating in Global Connect, I can assist you with any access requirements on those days as well. And yeah, so you'll see probably when you go to your registration, there will be a section in that where you can indicate if you do have any access requirements. If anyone does indicate that, I generally reach out to them, just introduce myself via email, let them know I'm available to chat. And if you want to chat, you can come back to me. If not, happy for you to continue on your way. Just letting you know that I'm available if you need to discuss anything further. If anyone has any specific questions from today, feel free to put them in the Q&A. Otherwise, as I said, you'll find my details on the website, on the accessibility page. And yeah, I hope to see you all at the event in just a few short weeks, I guess now. It's coming up quickly. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm going
And
to
I was
pass.
just going to add to that, Steph,
Sorry.
if you have, for those who haven't been before,
Yeah.
the space, you do a lot of walking. So
Yes.
if you have
Yeah.
mobility issues like me,
Mhm.
it's exhausting. So please, it's a good idea to get really familiar with the layout and
Mm.
also familiar with places where you can just stop and rest and give yourself space because
Yeah.
it can be some long distances walking, particularly from the
That's
market through to the conference.
absolutely, yeah. As you're saying, yeah, there is a lot of space. We do try to include as much seating along long
Mm,
hallways as we possibly can, as well navigating, as you said before, Kristen, navigating some of the social events if they're in different locations within the star. Some of those navigating to those can be a bit difficult sometimes. So if you have any issues with that, again, feel free to reach out and we'll guide you on the best way to get to those venues.
mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's also a map on the website which
Hmm.
can help with that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And if you have any support animals with you or any more specific questions around that kind of stuff, yeah, we'll be able to discuss that with the star, with the venue, and provide the information you need around that kind of stuff.
beautiful.
Yeah. All
Thanks,
right.
Steph.
Thank you.
Um, Now there's a couple of questions I just wanted to jump on from the Q&A about parking, what the costs are, and how convenient is. Um, I don't know the answer to that, but Andrew, you might have some insight on that. I'm wondering.
Sure. Sorry. I'll put the link in the chat with the details of all the parking.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you.
I'll also just add to that, there is also, I see in the question coming from Southport, there is the light rail outside that you can access the star as well. I've done that before. There's a covered walkway basically from the convention center up to the star, so that's also an option for people to get there via public transport.
Um, Next question was, how do we access the broadcast intel? When you register, you'll get a response email back, and it will have a link in that for you to go and claim your free registration. Where do the production partnership meetings take place? That is in the market. We'll dig right into the market in more detail coming up very soon. So I will let the marketplace team speak to that in more detail. We'll certainly go into it. All right. Thank you, Steph. Now, Marissa McDowell, would you like to turn your camera on, please? Welcome.
Hello.
Marissa is going to speak about diversity at Screen Forever.
Yep, I'll take it away. Thank you. Thanks, Kristen. Yes, hi, welcome everybody. I guess this is your boot camp. So Yirimarang, good day, Wiradjuri language. I just wanted to speak to people from my perspective. I've travelled to SPA a number of years as a producer, independent producer, and also working as a broadcaster in commissioning. And just wanted to speak to diversity and speaking for your story. So when you travel to SPA, if you're pitching any of your projects to commissioning editors or any distributors, I just wanted you to be mindful of what the stories are that you're pitching, and scripted and factual, in the sense that you're telling stories, that you have permission to tell stories. The representation of the people that you're telling those stories of are also part of your production team as well. I think that's really important, to be mindful that you are representing people with lived experience in your stories when you're pitching them. A lot of the funding agencies won't take your projects on unless you can prove that that's the case. So I just wanted everyone to be mindful of that. Previously, as an example, when I was working as a commissioning editor for SBS NITV, I had a number of producers pitch to me projects where they didn't actually have First Nations people attached to those projects. So they didn't have approval for the stories that they were telling, and they also didn't have representation of those characters or those people that they were telling those stories of as part of the production team. So I just wanted everyone to be mindful of that. It also enriches your story as well by having those people that you're telling those stories of as part of your actual story. I don't know if anybody has any questions, but I'm happy to leave my contact details for anybody that's pitching material or that needs any assistance to know how the industry is working, the film industry at large.
There's nothing
but
in
you
the
can
Q&A, but yeah, that's a great idea, Marissa. Thank you.
Yeah, I just thought if anybody wants to have a chat, I'm available. But also the state agencies, I strongly suggest reaching out to your state funding agency in regards to any of your content that you're pitching, just to get their view on the material that you've got, that you're representing the voices of those stories, but also in more respectfully, you have those people involved within your production team. Another thing I wanted to talk to you about was so besides your pitch material and having your production team representing the diverse voices and cultures and perspectives that you have, to just make sure that that those people have a seat at the table when you're actually pitching. So it's good to have the representation of the people that you're representing in your stories or your pitching content, having a seat at the table as well, because as your broadcasters won't know who that person is unless they've known him on a personal level, but it's respectful to have them sitting at the table as well. So I'm available for anybody if you have any questions or want to run anything by me, have any queries. There's also your state agencies, as I suggested. It's best to test the waters with them as well, because a lot of the assessment that gets done on the other side, yeah, there are questions that get asked whether or not those voices are being represented in your teams, as well as you've got permission, so cultural permissions or whatever that might be, whichever diverse group that you're representing, that you've got them alongside of you. I think
I've got
that's
a
about.
question in the Q&A from Laura about any specific Blackfellow events happening during Screen Forever.
Yeah. Do you want to answer that, Kristen? I know there's one from Screen Queensland generally.
Yes, yeah, exactly. So Queensland put on an Indigenous luncheon on day one, I want to say, day one, which they manage and they handle the invitations for. So I'm not super across with where that's at the moment, but it's managed by Screen Queensland. But it's not just limited to Queenslanders. They certainly reach out more widely than that.
Yes, so I guess that'll probably come out closer to Scream Forever, those invitations. So if there's any First Nations mob that are attending that would like to attend, I would suggest just keep your eye open for the Scream Forever, the schedule, just to see where it's listed. It's normally on the first day, so
Yeah.
yeah, it's usually held on the first day. I think they might be looking for a different location, last I heard, but I'm not sure if they've found another location. And yeah, well, I think that's pretty open. That's open to all First Nations people who are attending. And First Nations is in other cultures, other cultural backgrounds too, I'm pretty sure. Just trying to think if there's any other events. There's usually social events. Usually mob gather together and we'll invite the rest of the tuck the rest of you under our wing who haven't been before, to other events that we have as well. There's usually dinners or depending on if Kayleen Butler comes, there might be karaoke, who knows? So please just grab one of us who have been there a number of times, and we're happy to tuck you under our wing and invite you to any of those events. Or if you look like you might be a bit lost, just come and stand by us, and you're more than welcome. As for anybody here that's in, yeah, you're welcome to come and hang out with us. But I think that's
Awesome.
about it. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else. I might email it to you, Kristen, if that's okay. If there's something else that
Yeah, if you
pops
do.
in my mind, yeah, thank you. That would be
Thank you. Appreciate
um
it.
yeah, it would be wonderful. But I guess just the main thing I just wanted to emphasize was just the representation of the people that you are pitching your content and telling the stories of, that you have them as a part of your production team as well. So writers or producers or directors, especially when you're going into the funding agencies, and when you're also pitching to the broadcasters, because they will question whether or not you have permission from those people.
And in fact, we will have a panel that will be touching on exactly those topics and best ways to work with First Nations people if you are not yourself a First Nations person.
Oh, just one other thing, Kristen. I just thought of it now. One thing that I've heard a lot within the community just recently, the producers and state agencies and Screen Australia as well, just to be really clear, the difference between bringing someone on board, a collaborator and a consultant. So I just wanted to emphasize that consultants are the people who are on the country that you're telling the story from, or the elders or traditional owners. And producers and creatives are those who have access to the stories and who are co-writing with you and give you the ends to that story, but also navigating that story world with you, or coming into co-produce with you. So there's a big difference between consultant and collaborator or producer or creative. But if you have any questions, you can check with Screen Australia and their guidelines. And Gillian Moody, who's just stepped into the role of Head of First Nations at Screen Australia, I'm sure her team would be more than happy to point you in that direction if you have any queries to that. So I just wanted to emphasize that. So thank you, Kristen, and thank you, everyone.
Thanks,
I look forward to
really
seeing you
appreciate it.
all.
And now you all know what she looks like, so you can just grab her, accost her.
Just grab me. Just grab me. All right.
Alrighty.
Thank you.
So we'll get into talking about the market. Karina Libby is managing the market. Karina, I shall hand over to you.
Awesome. Thank you, Kristen. And thank you. Congratulations on a great program. I'm very excited to hear about Secret Gelato. Great program and great conversations so far, and some really good questions in the chat. I will go through quite a few of those that are related to the market now. So keep them coming, and anything I don't get to, I will get to, I promise. So yeah, we're so excited to be bringing back the Spark Connect market this year. I'll take you through, if you've been before, what might be different, new opportunities, and how the two strands of the market work so that you can get the most out of both. So we have the online global market and the in-person market. So the online global market takes place the week before on Tuesday, 21 and 22 of April. And the in-person market will take place on the Gold Coast on the 28th, 29th and 30th. I am the in-person Spark Connect market manager, and a big shout out to Michelle Hardy, who's been working on the market so far, and she'll be managing the online global market. She is on set today, which is very exciting, so she can't be here, but she's been working really hard, and if you've come to the conference before, you know her well. So we kick everything off, as I said, on the 21st of April and the 22nd on the online global market. Now, if you have bought a 3-day Gold Coast pass and applied for match market meetings, then you will automatically have access to the OGM, and you'll be added to meetings depending on your preferences. Of course, it takes place online on Zoom, and as it takes place across the globe, your meetings can start at 6 a.m. You could have a meeting at 9 p.m. As we sort of travel across countries around the world. So there will be a bit of a gap during the middle of the day, but be prepared to be potentially given meeting spots that are sort of a little bit out of the ordinary. For the matched market meetings, and this goes for the online global market and the in-person, formerly called Ready Steady Pitch, but we're calling them matched market meetings because of a couple of changes we've put in. So when you would have noticed, if you're a delegate signing up, you had to submit your one-page projects. And what we've asked all of the hosts to do is to submit their preferences. So we've taken all of that information and been able to make those meetings matched together so that we are making the most out of everybody's time, that these are highly tailored, curated meetings, so that people who are looking at your projects are actually looking for those types of projects. So myself and our coordinator, Emma, have been working really hard to make sure we're lining these up as best as possible. And, you know, you will literally be matched with a buyer who has read your one-page project, and we will let you know when that booking is confirmed which project they would like to see. So you've got the time and the space to give it all you've got, and we'll set you up for success as much as we can. So once those meetings have been, we're in the process of matching now, and once they've all been confirmed, they will pop up in your event hub. So when you log in to the website into your registration area, there's an event hub, which is super helpful, and where you can see all the list of the delegates who are coming, and you'll be able to see your schedule in there as well. For the online sessions, we recommend turning up 5 minutes early to each of the sessions. You know, these are really strictly timed, so make sure you turn up on time. You'll be put in a waiting room, greeted by one of our moderators, and they will move you into the right rooms to meet the right people. We do have to keep to a strict time, and so like most Zooms, you'll get an update to say you've only got so many minutes left, and we really recommend that you take the chance to end that meeting on a really nice high note rather than it just closing, because we don't have any control of that. It will just close you out. So please make sure to be prepared to end your meeting just as well as you begin it. And we highly recommend, if you intend in those meetings, to share your screen and share your video to make sure that you have good Wi-Fi connection, great audio settings, that you've updated everything, and that you've checked what you're sharing. Don't waste time in those precious precious few minutes making adjustments in the call. Be as prepared as possible. Now, for the round tables at the online global market, these provide you with a really unique opportunity to meet buyers and commissioners and distributors, sales agents, and it's more of a relaxed Q&A approach. So you'll be able to hear what those companies are looking for and ask them questions. It's a really nice place to meet them. You can grab their contact details and ask as a follow-up meeting if you haven't been able to already secure a meeting with them. But it is strictly a no pitching space. So you aren't able to go in and pitch your story. And we ask that everyone's really considerate of the time of the host and the time of everyone else at that round table. And by respecting that, and instead come prepared with lots of questions that you would like to know about that company. So you'll know in advance who you're meeting, do your research, come prepared with lots of questions, make the most of every minute that you have. In the online global market, we have about 50 organisations coming from across Europe, including France, Germany, the UK, Ireland. We also have people coming from all across America, across Canada, across from New Zealand. So yeah, really do take this opportunity, do your research, spend some time in advance. For the round tables, these are the ones that you're actually able to book. So for the online global market round tables, we will open bookings at 12 o'clock on the 1st of April in via your registration, well, when you log in to your registration. So be prepared for them because they will open and they will go fast. And we don't want you to miss out on any of the round tables that you really want to book into. They go for 30 minutes and we'll have a sort of one buyer with about 15 delegates in the room. So it's a really nice, intimate conversation. You'll be able to book 3 of those round tables. And then once we've gone through that first round of bookings, we will open it up. And if there are any spots left, you'll get an email and we'll open up the bookings again on the 15th of April for you to be able to book in for any extra ones if there is still space. So I will have a quick look. Any questions for the online market? Okay.
Yeah, so I was just going to ask, one question that's in there is when will those meetings, once they've been, like agreed or whatever, when will they see them in the hub?
So we're aiming to have them in there by the 2nd of April. We are somehow magically ahead of schedule at the moment. So it might be before then, but don't hound us until after the 2nd of April because that's the plan for now. So we're all tracking quite well. Awesome. Okay, if that's it for online, I'll move into the in-person market. Sorry, there's so much information. Try and get through it all. So yes, taking place on the 28th to the 30th of April on the Gold Coast, we have the in-person market. So day one, on the Tuesday, we run Launchpad. And Launchpad is kind of like Bootcamp level up. It's specially made for people who are earlier in their Screen Forever journey, so first or second timers, to give you a bit of a lay of the land on what to expect and how to get the most out of your in-person experience. Like Kristen said, it takes place in the Event Centre Marquee. So head there on your first day. So check-in starts at 9:30, but yes, registration for the actual conference starts at 9. And you won't be able to get into Launchpad if you don't have your delegate badge. So let's all get there bright and early, 9 a.m., register at the main registration, and then there'll be a second check-in at the market space where you'll need your delegate badge. Hopefully you've got a coffee, you're feeling good. We don't want you to turn up stressed, turn up prepared. The Launchpad has 2 parts, a presentation and a speed networking hour. So that first hour is with Monica Davidson from Creative Plus Business. She's a very seasoned Screen Forever attendee, and she will share tips and tricks on how to survive the conference, meeting tactics, best pitches, making sure you stay hydrated, all the really practical stuff, and some conference etiquette. And then the second hour, she'll introduce you to all of our industry service providers. So these are wonderful companies that are, not buyers or sales agents, but offer specialist and adjacent services such as lawyers and accountants and post-production houses and education and training. We'll introduce you to them, and then they will go and sit inside the market for a speed networking session where you'll grab 2 friends and you'll have 4 minutes to sit and talk with these people, get their contacts, find out what they have to offer and how they might help you in your career and your business. So what I highly recommend is, if that speed networking sounds like a good option for you, to make sure you turn up on time for that as well. There's a lot of capacity for the talk from Monica, but there is quite limited spots for the speed networking. So if you are interested, please turn up on time. So it's first in, best dressed for those ones. And then you'll have about an hour to have a break, and then you will be off to the main conference when Kristen's fabulous program kicks off. So then we move to day 2. And this is the big day for Spark Connect Market. This is the roundtables and match market meetings. So this is where you are connecting with buyers and distributors, commissioners, international guests. The marketplace roundtables are pretty much the same as the OGM ones, except they're just in person. And a really nice way to start your day and get you in the mood and get you talking. So they will run between 9 and 12:45. They are 25 minutes each, and you're on a table of 1 host and 9 people. This is, again, where you get to talk to them, find out what they're looking for, but no pitching in this space. This is really just about hearing about these companies that you're really interested in. Now, for the in-person roundtables, they are open for booking on April 8, and you can book into 2 sessions for that. So those dates are Online Global Market Roundtables, April 1, in person, April 8, and then they both will open on 15th of April if there's spots available and you want to book in any extra meetings that you might not have had the chance. And then in the afternoon, we have the in-person match market meetings. So again, they've been highly tailored, or they will have been highly tailored to the projects you've submitted and what our hosts are after. They take place between 2 and 5:30, and you'll be assigned 2 meetings in the match market meeting space. When you arrive, you'll be given a card that tells you who you're meeting, where and what table, but that will also already be in the event hub. So this is more just a reminder, but everything you need will be online. And same as before, arrive early, check in 15 minutes before your first meeting.
Karina, can you just explain? You just said then event. Sorry, I'm just a random floating voice. Can you just explain event hub, what you mean when you say that?
Oh, of course. Actually, can I share my screen?
Of course.
Let's do that. Can you see that okay?
No.
Not yet.
Oh, sure.
There you go.
There she is. So this is your event hub. Great. Thanks, Kristen. Great question. So when you log into the website, down here is your event hub, and this is personalized to your Screen Forever journey. So this is where those booking spots for the roundtable will come up, obviously coming soon. Beautiful mobile app, so you can use it on the go, coming soon. And then otherwise, this is where you can find the delegate list and sort of admin back end of your registration there. So this will be your new best friend for Screen Forever. Okay, I stopped you. Okie dokie.
And it's probably worth noting, if for those who may have been before, that there, and for anyone who hasn't, that there are not printed programs. It's all digital. So do download that app and get that website.
Yes, we love. And you can add all your sessions, right? So you can, once we've got your meetings in and your match market meetings and your roundtables in, and you can see the program, you'll be able to schedule your whole time there and make the most of it. So it's a really critical and awesome thing to have in your pocket, so you know where you want to be at any time. Okie dokie. And then on the Thursday, we are running the Production Partnership Forum, which is an opportunity for independent producers and smaller production companies to meet with potential production partners, form relationships, partnerships, potential co-productions. These are primarily with our Australian companies. And this is specifically if you have opted in to be able to participate in the Production Partnership Forum. That's on Thursday morning, 9 till 11, and each host takes 8 15-minute meetings. So delegates eligible for 2 meetings with hosts, and same as before, matched depending on preferences and projects. Make sure you arrive early. In both the Production Partnerships Forum and the Match Market meetings, you can bring an extra person with you. If you have someone from your team, say you're the producer and you have your writer with you, if they are already attending the conference, you can bring one extra person with you into those pitch scenarios if appropriate and if you want to. Some hosts might have 2 people from a company. Most of them are coming single, but there are a couple of people who you might be meeting with too. And again, in this scenario, make sure you've done your research and you know everything about the company you're meeting with, so you can really angle your pitch in the best possible way. Is there anything else?
Do people go to, they just go to the registration desk and then get told where to go from there? The marquee registration desk, I should say.
Yes. So there's a registration desk for the market inside the event marquee. We'll have a team of people there to check you in. And yes, we'll have sort of be operating a bit of a card system. So we want to encourage you to have it on your app, but you will also be given sort of a cheat sheet when you arrive to go like, you need to be at this time on this table, go. Because yeah, it's fast moving, it's buzzy. I don't know, we're all busy and thinking of a million things. So we're going to try our best to make it easy for the delegates as well.
And when will all those meetings be? When will people know if they've been selected for those?
Same, April 2. Yeah. Lovely. And then the last thing from me is that this year, for the first time, we're offering a Global Connect Production Partnership Forum, which is the opportunity for production companies to meet with international co-production partners who are coming through the Global Connect program to Screen Forever. That'll take place just after the local PPF at 11:30. Slightly less meetings, there'll be 4 15-minute sessions. And this process has been announced fairly recently. So if you did register early and would like to take part and you're interested in talking to someone about an international co-production, you need to go back into your registration, and there's a little bit of an extra form to fill out where you can select who you would like to meet with in an international co-pro situation. So there will be in that form a list of representatives and a list of delegates. We're listing the full countries who are participating in Global Connect and all of the delegates who will be coming very soon. What we can say at the moment is that we know that we'll be welcoming producers from Korea, Ireland and New Zealand, as well as more that are already in conversation to be announced very soon. So some really amazing opportunities there. So if you do have projects that you'd like to talk to someone about at International Co-Pro, make sure you jump back in, pop your projects back in. We can try and match you up. And the registrations for that close this Friday, March 13. So you only have a few days, but it's very similar to the previous registration. So you should be able to smash it out and get that application in. That's it. So yes, other general things. Already talked about when you'll be told about meetings. We have, the list of the delegates is in the event hub, and also if you go into the website, each of the pages for each of the sections of the market, you can click on and see the hosts, who's coming, who from which company. And we have also been running over the last few weeks some webinars for like meet the buyer webinars with our international guests, talking about what they're looking for while they're at Screen Forever, and how to pitch to an international market and those sorts of things. They're really helpful as a way to prepare as well. So feel free to jump onto our website. I think Andrew will chuck it in the chat. But yes, is there any other questions I've missed?
No, you've we've covered all of it.
Woo! All right, thank you.
Cha-ching.
Thank you for listening.
All right. Well, we're going to, and actually, one thing I wanted to add, Marissa is such an angel. She has said that she would like to pass on that she's happy to connect and support on the ground if anyone is feeling overwhelmed, or if they want to meet anyone, she'll do her best to introduce them. So don't be afraid to ask people for help. Many people are very nice and are happy to do so. Thank you, Marissa, for being so kind as to offer that up. We're now going to, I'm going to introduce Chantel Ketchell, Navid Bahadouri, and Krista Jordan.
Hi, Krista.
Krista is from Afters, and Navid and Chantel, where is she? There she is.
Yay.
Are former Ones to Watch, who, if anyone's unfamiliar with Ones to Watch, it's a program that SPA run every year that gives opportunities for producers to have a mentor who's a very experienced producer and to spend, I think it's once a month throughout 6 months leading up to Screen Forever on conversations to learn how to best prepare their packages, their slates, and so on before Screen Forever, and those one-on-one type of questions. It's an incredible program, and these guys have been through it. And they're also going to speak to their experience of their first Screen Forever. But first, I'll kick off to Krista.
Hi, everyone. So great to hear all about the exciting stuff that's happening at Screen Forever. I've been to a few, and it's always sort of really energetic and interesting and exciting in many ways. And one of the great opportunities that we have this afternoon is to talk to Chantal and Navid about their actual experience on the ground, perhaps as the first blush of getting in there to give it a real run at it. And so for context, just as a starting point, I thought, first of all, I'd give some context, very brief context about myself. So I work at the film school in screen business primarily, but I actually come primarily from the visual effects, animation, and background. And so in the spirit of the idea that it's very inclusive in terms of all genres, all styles, all areas of sort of screen content, know that if that's your area of interest, there's some great content that's produced in those spaces as well. And I know Navid has a particular style of work that he's in, as does Chantal, and I'd love just a super brief, Navid, give everyone a sense of kind of your creative and professional kind of ground floor.
Thank you, Krista. Yeah, I mean, the ground floor is ever moving. Started in short form, kind of online content, slowly built the courage to longer form documentary standalones. We've done a couple of series now, and of late have gone into kind of action, martial arts, feature films. So it's as I say, the floor is varied.
We love that. I love a bit of variation. And Chantal, your kind of, where's your passion areas in terms of the industry and screen content?
Yeah, so I am a writer and producer, and so I'm based in Cairns, Far North Queensland. So the areas that I worked in or have worked in are both television and film, for scripted and factual. Starting to kind of go into online, which is exciting as well. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at the moment. I do a little bit of everything. Yeah, initially because I'm a AFTARS graduate, I remember coming out in AFTARS and I was like, oh, I'll just write for film. And then once you get into the industry, you see that there's all these different opportunities, and so take them when they come up. And Screen Forever is an event where you're going to get to meet a lot of different commissioners, broadcasters, and there's those opportunities that are available to work in many different fields.
Oh, and that's a great note about the diversity of connection. And, whilst, a lot of it is about the idea of putting together maybe one or two singular projects, what you get a is a really great understanding of all the breadth of sort of cross-pollination, cross-content development, cross-media opportunities. That's something that obviously from my background, I get really interested in. But for those people who haven't kind of jumped in there for the first day, getting into it, just to give some, like, just to imagine in our minds. I remember walking in the first time, you get down there to registration. Before registration, it's quite busy, there's a lot going on, you get your registration in, and it's a big day. And I'm just curious, from your perspective, after that first day, what was kind of the first thought you had where you kind of went, wow, that's an interesting takeaway from first day? I'm wondering if you have any memories of what that was like for that first day, sort of, Navid.
I mean, look at I've heard the word overwhelming a couple of times. It's big. I mean, that was probably it was my first Screen Forever last year actually, and it was big. It felt incredibly busy. I say this with all due respect to all of us individually, but you kind of feel like a nobody all of a sudden because you realise you're in this big space with a lot of people. So I think that can be overwhelming. I think you've just got to have the confidence and focus of what you're there to do. And I think, Chantel, we were a little bit VIPs as ones to watch. So we got ushered around a little bit. But nonetheless, I think the sheer scale of it is large. But I think I've heard a couple of times on this session that everyone is there knowing that they're wanting to have connections, make connections, and have conversations. So I think you'll find lots of friendly faces throughout.
I would agree with the friendly faces thing. There's like lots of friendly faces, and we can talk about how you navigate that a little bit, sort of practically. But Chantal, what were your thoughts on that first day?
Oh, just to echo everything that Navita said, it is initially, I remember my first one was 2024, and it was incredibly overwhelming. You walk into that little corridor, and you see the amount of people that are there, and you kind of, it hits you, how am I supposed to navigate this? What am I supposed to do here? But there's so many people on the ground from the spa team and I'm lucky that there are other people like Marissa had advice, like the First Nations group there that I could lean on, and other creators from Far North Queensland, and I was there with Screenworks. So there are these spaces that I guess for newer people to the conference. And I think what surprised me the most is how open and approachable people are.
That's good to hear, isn't it?
It is. It's lovely. And a lot of the times, like, I will vouch for that gelato stand. It's amazing, number one. It's so good. Free ice cream.
Yeah.
But the conversations that you have, any of those moments when it's like morning tea or lunch, and because everyone's lining up and you're just having chats and it's casual and it doesn't feel as formal as like those pitching tables, which can be at times a little bit overwhelming.
Yeah.
I've been using that word a lot, sorry. But like, because you feel like you've got to be so prepped and you've got 15 minutes, whereas when you're in a lineup to get lunch or an ice cream or a coffee or something, it just feels a lot lighter way to kind of introduce yourself and who you are.
I think that's an awesome kind of segue, because I'd love to touch on the idea that, a lot of the greatest connections, in my humble opinion, having worked in these spaces and in these events and been around these events, is it's actually that kind of more relaxed connection as people. So often, ultimately, there's the pitch, there's the project, that's all of that sort of stuff. But in reality, most of us when we're networking, what we're trying to do is kind of trust someone. We want to feel like that there's someone who's not only is their story good, but people want to get to know you. Would you agree with that kind of premise, Chantal and Navi?
Yeah, I think people are open to getting to know you, because that's what we're all there is to kind of know who's who in the industry. And oftentimes you're going to find collaborators. And I think what I wish I realized a little bit earlier is that everyone feels nervous, whether it's your first timer or you're somebody from a broadcaster or some of the key speakers that are there. Everyone feels a little bit nervous. It's not just yourself. So
Totally.
I think it's also just the forum, like as between the round tables and the one-on-ones, which are incredibly competitive. I'll say that's one thing I learned: get in early, put your name, mark those dates in your calendar. I have dates in my calendar for this year as well, because the roundtables and those sessions go early. But knowing that when you're in those sessions, people expect that you're going to pitch and you're going to pitch quick and your time is going to be limited. The fantastic spa folk are standing on the wings ready to move you on, and that's not out of disrespect to you, but that, that's just how the format works, and knowing that format. And then if you're in a coffee line, you can have a softer conversation, and that probably comes to just the level of a level of etiquette and respect. I suspect a lot of people are being either pitched at or doing a lot of pitching, and sometimes you might catch them on a moment when they're just taking a breath and need a moment, and so. Going at them hard on another 15 or 5-minute pitch might feel off. So it's just kind of reading people and reading the space a little bit. If they're having a gelato, I'd say maybe don't pitch. If they're at a round table or they're at another session, there's probably greater opportunity to listen and kind of take that away.
And also provide them an opportunity to ask you a question, perhaps, because, if they're asking you questions, then that's a great indicator, I would suggest. And Monica does do that amazing session in Launchpad. Have you been into those Launchpad sessions, either of you? I love the bit where she talks a little bit about the etiquette around giving people who are there working really hard space outside of the formalized events to just relax and unwind. It can sometimes it can work a bit against you if you're pushing too hard in the gelato line or in the coffee queue, that sort of thing. I'd love to get a sense, in terms of the overall sort of top line takeaways for you at those events. What was the sort of the biggest takeaway that you got in terms of maybe I wish I'd spent a little bit more time focusing on this, or maybe perhaps I could have done that better, or I found the greatest place to eat, but it happened to be 2 kilometers away, so I needed to bring my sneakers, even down to that kind of practical stuff. Was there any sort of real takeaways from your previous experiences in the conference?
Chantel?
I'll kick off. Thanks, Navid. I think plan ahead, like the schedule will be pretty much finalized, or we went through most of it there, and have a look at who you really want to connect with, and do that research on what they're looking for, and if you can sit in their panels, amazing, so you get an idea, and also kind of know that you can't do everything. Like it's so jam-packed, so
totally.
I don't feel like you have to like constantly move. Have those breathing times. I know that's
great advice.
That space to kind of give yourself a little bit of
and some throat lozenges. Throat lozenges and a little snack pack.
Definitely. And I think my biggest thing for myself this year is I will be staying close by for those moments where I want to have a little bit of a like break from the conference, but it's within a close walking distance where I can just go and refresh at my hotel, and then come back and just give myself a little bit of space. I think that would probably be just those moments, because it can be a bit tricky finding space because there are so many people at the conference. But in saying that as well, there are really like nice quiet areas as well, like that had Steph touched on earlier, that where you can have those moments of
absolutely
reflection.
Go for a walk, Navid.
Yeah, I mean, being on a Sparkle, I imagine a lot of producer brains with spreadsheets and things like that. I had 3 days mapped out in spreadsheet form. Definitely, the one thing that I think the schedules don't give you is those little break moments, even getting from one place to the next. Of course, being at the conference, you want to maximize. It's really rare sometimes to have people in the one place like that, so you want to maximize it, but just be conscious of literally jumping from time slot to time slot to time slot to time slot. There's attrition, you get tired. If you're pitching, it's not going to work. So really be focused about what you are wanting to take there. You're not going to get 10 commissions. You may not get 1 commission. Let's be honest. Like the reality of it is, it's about the connection.
Totally. And even a no is a great networking opportunity, right? It's just no for now, right?
Potentially.
But you've connected with someone, and now that's the first little window opened, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's about being open about that being a potential reality, but the connections are probably of greater importance, and giving yourself the space to be your best, because as Chantel said, you can't do everything. You're not going to be able to get to every session. You're not going to get to every meeting. So just be conscious about how you plan that, but be quite precise and know, okay, this is actually this is the project I want to go with, and these are the people I want to meet. And there are also some great sessions. We saw the schedule for this year. There are some great sessions, and conferences like this can be great aha moments for that next idea or the current idea you're working on with a different take. So definitely make time to actually sit in and do some industry thinking, which is sometimes you forget to do when you're trying to kind of run from meeting to meeting.
Totally. One of the things that I found kind of really useful is I would try and pre-program my phone with vibration alerts just to remind me to, you've got to be here by then, but on vibrate. So if I was in a session, I didn't disturb anything. And then the other one was if I had a buddy, then we could divide and conquer. Right. So it's like you go to that session and get all the gear and take photographs and ask all the questions, and I'll go to that session and I'll do the same. And then we kind of pool them later as a resource, and we can have a great conversation about it at night. So they were some of the things that I found were super handy in that space. In terms of the sort of networking, I love a good opening line. Do you have any great opening, like so when you're standing in the gelato queue or you're next to them and they're getting a coffee? Did you any great pearls of wisdom on what's a great way to open a conversation?
Goodness,
you can say no.
Sure.
There's no right answer.
Not really. I would just say, as I said before, like don't go with the flow. Don't force a situation if it doesn't feel right. Sometimes if you see someone that you really want to speak with, but they're deep in conversation with someone else, it may not be the time to kind of interrupt. So, that's probably one thing to keep in mind. Otherwise, but as I say, I don't think you need a magic trick to open up a conversation. It just might be a hi, my name is so-and-so. I really was hoping to chat to you about something or other, if you don't have a formal meeting. But as I say, as much as possible, because knowing whether it's distributors or commissioners, they will have quite a tight schedule that they have planned prior to going to this. So what are we, the 10th of March? I would be saying if you want to meet with someone, I suggest contacting them very soon and saying, hi, I would love to get 10 minutes of your time, because they are, typically bouncing. I've been in meetings where the person that was meeting after me is literally standing kind of there, ready to walk in. So those opportunities may be closed, and they also want to go to some sessions as well. So that there is the
absolutely they do. That's a really good point.
Yeah, that they're not always wanting to meet. They'll want to go to some sessions. So it's just people will be very friendly to an open conversation, but if it becomes a deeper thing, I think you just got to be mindful that they will have a schedule they're working to, and giving them a little bit of space around that as well. But typically a hi, my name is a great way to get into that conversation.
Chantel, did you have any other pearls, or is that sort of on the same page?
Yeah, very similar. Yeah, just introduce yourself. And if it's just sometimes I'm not too sure who's behind me in a line or something like that, and so then that's a chance. But if it's somebody like Navid had mentioned that you're keen to have a chat to, and they're going to be there because the delegate list is there, consider reaching out a lot earlier to organise that general if possible. I think just keep it very, be very casual in your approach, because I think
they want to know you as a person too, don't they? I certainly do. I mean, that's the human thing. It's not always just about the bundle, the packet. They do want to get a sense of who you are as a person and whether there's some synchronicity there or that sort of stuff as well. So there is an element about that human connection, which is why you go to these events,
Yeah, I was going to say, you will all no doubt find yourself in that awkward moment where you've got a bite to eat, or you've got a coffee, and there's no one that that's standing around you, and if you find someone that you kind of just want to start a conversation with, ask them a question. You can always just literally ask them, how are you enjoying the conference? Now, you may not know who they are. You just want to you don't want to stand there kind of awkwardly with your coffee in a corner. You want to just engage with someone. Just ask them a question to start the conversation, which is just how are you finding the conference, and that will usually kick it off. And I've met a lot of people that way. Exchange cards at the end of the conversation. But nonetheless, the conversation wasn't about a project or anything specific. It was about how they were enjoying the conference as the way in, and then who they were, and that kind of came through that.
And then I think one of the great things about that too, um, is it good coffee? Asking for a friend. Yeah, there's always good coffee. That's a primo line that's required.
Yeah.
Um, you know, there's the idea of and it's called a network for a reason, that spider web of connections. It's like maybe the first person you're talking to is not ultimately maybe the person that you connect with professionally later, but in essence, you're stepping into their network orbit. And then every one of those connections, you're stepping into another network orbit. And so it might be the third or the fourth connections, to quote films, 6 degrees of separation. You might just, have done that first degree to get to the one that you want to know. And then, in terms of the other idea of not everyone is comfortable with saying, jumping into that, but, the fake it again, there's things, a little bit of fake it till you make it, know that everyone, and we've said this before, feels a little bit awkward or uncomfortable, and just relax into it and just know that everybody understands that you're there for a reason. Chantal, any sort of thoughts about, and we touched on I like this idea of the book ending of the conference. So we talk a little bit about being prepared for it and being, ready on the day and having yourself set up for the day. You've already, both of you have touched on, do your research first, do a little preparation, do some just soft introductions. Even for this session now, the first thing I did was kind of get into LinkedIn and say hi and make sure that we were connected, so it wasn't cold coming in, and that can ease that sense of tension on that first instance. What tips do you have after the conference? So you've gone to the conference, you've used a lot of energy, and you've invested a lot of time and effort. Any tips for what happens once the conference is over?
Yep. So utilizing things like LinkedIn to reach out, or if you've handed over a business card or used, I've noticed the last few conferences I've gone to, this business cards are still a thing, but there's also the QR codes that people
Be
can
QR
scan.
ready. Have your phone ready.
Yeah.
Practice if you're not used to it,
Yeah.
because it can be the high-speed version.
It's quicker and it ends up going straight to their phone. And so then, whereas I know for myself too, like you're getting so many cards often, like it's hard to kind of decipher who's who and what's what. And so then, I guess reaching out after the conference is really important. So usually give it about 2 weeks, I reckon, because a lot of these, especially those like your broadcasters, your streamers and things like that, they're incredibly busy. They will have somebody like an assistant or something that will be fielding those inquiries anyhow and locking that in for them. So I think afterwards, just a nice friendly email, because you don't want to pitch immediately at the conference or straight up if they're free for a general meeting or something like that. So just reach out and ask and go from there.
Great tip, that little breather. Give them a beat. Give yourself a beat. Be kind to yourself is one of the things I'd like to say. Be kind to yourself. We're talking a lot about other people, but give yourself a breather every now and again and take the pressure off a little bit. Any thoughts from you, Navid?
Yeah, look, I think Chantal has summarised it very well. I mean, I had a range of business cards that came. There were a few QR code exchanges. As for your project and what your objectives are, I think it's really on you to drive that and definitely give people some space, because they're going to come back bamboozled and have a list of cards themselves. But if you view your interactions through the lens of connection, it's always worth, even if the meeting didn't go as you wanted or you didn't get the outcome that you wanted, just reaching out and just saying thank you for the time is worthwhile, because you don't know the next time you may need to reach out to them for something. So I definitely say be very diligent in the same way that you schedule and plan for the conference. Have a plan and know who you've gone back to afterwards and what the actions were, if any, off the back of it.
Yeah, I totally agree. Also, another great question: is there any dance floor action at the celebration of awards night? Absolutely, there is. There very much is, and
Opening night's got a nice band.
And there's always, opportunities to go out. I also want to mention, and we touched on this as well, I think earlier in the piece, where we were talking about some of the bigger participants and partners in the event will have lateral sessions going on. So if you go through the program and have a quick look at who's there and see if maybe they've got a lateral event that's alongside it, because it's an opportunity to bring everyone together. I know that the Screen Business team, we have a breakfast for our graduates there to support them as they're at the conference. So there's a lot of different things in those spaces that you can kind of leverage as well that are peripheral to, but aligned with the conference events. Did you have that experience as well?
Yeah, definitely. Screenworks, being regional, they had I think it was a 25th celebration last year, and then there was the Screen Queensland First Nations um, breakfast as well. And so check to see what your state agencies are doing as well, and see if you can get an invite to those, because then it's just another networking opportunity, not only just for some of those like broadcasters or your state agency more, but there's potential other collaborators, and even
Absolutely.
just to meet other people that you can lean on during the conference. Because, yeah, so that it's because you're all there kind of,
Yeah, buddy
um,
up,
yeah, that's it. Your buddy up. You can find your
buddy up.
mates there. Yeah. And it's a free feed. So there you go. Go and check it out.
Go for the free feed, always a
Yeah,
winner.
yeah.
Navid?
Yeah, no, I mean, I had a couple of satellite sessions, however you want to call it. I mean, I think just check that it's not an invite-only event, because some of them are, and you don't want to turn up and
Yes,
kind of go, oh, I'm here for this thing, and they say,
yes,
well, do you have the invitation? And for that's for various reasons, if they want to focus on a certain sector within the industry. So
absolutely.
yes, if you have the opportunity to, I definitely say take it up.
And so we're heading towards racing towards the end here, but I would love to get your thoughts on, what's the one, piece of, encouragement that you would like to impart to all participants, particularly new entrants coming in to try and leverage and enjoy the excitement and get the greatest benefit from Screen Forever. Any words of encouragement? I might go to you, Navid, first.
I would just say be clear and be bold in
Oh, I love that.
what your objective is and what you want. I mean, people know that if you, particularly when you're in a conversation with a distributor or a broadcaster, and they know you are there for something, just be very clear about what it is and be bold about what you're asking. The worst that can happen is they say no. The best that can happen is they say yes. The middle ground is a maybe, and then that means you've got some more work to do. But I think the worst thing is if you're not prepared, you don't have the materials, you don't have the right people in your team, which they touched on earlier. I mean, you don't want to get some very basic things about your project wrong after a few questions. So just be really clear, do your homework, but just be really as I say, be clear and bold in what you're asking for. And sometimes you will be surprised.
That's
Don't be surprised if you get homework as well. There's always
totally,
some follow up that
totally.
will
That's a
come.
really good tip.
Yeah.
I'd like to paraphrase or quote at my colleague Peter Herbert, who's the convener for Screen Business, who says the second best answer is no. You know,
Yeah.
it's not the wrong answer, it's just the answer for now. And
Yeah.
don't be intimidated by that. That's just the cut and thrust of moving through those spaces. And don't be put off by that at all.
Yeah.
Chantel, what's your
Oh,
words of
oh, I was just
encouragement?
going to add
Oh yeah,
one
another.
thing before Chantal. I was going to say that
Yeah.
there
No,
are
good.
true opportunities though that will come from it. I had great success at the last conference. I had someone buy a couple of shows that we had, and distributors come into projects that we were pitching. So it is a serious conference in the sense that it can create the avenues
Agreed.
that you're after. So that's why I say go bold. Sorry, Chantal. Oh,
No,
You're
no,
up,
all good,
Chantel.
Navid.
What are your words of encouragement?
Oh, I've got a few for you guys out there. So my biggest encouragement would be to be brave and start the conversation. Everyone at Screen Forever is there because they love storytelling and are wanting to meet other collaborators. You don't need to be like have the perfect pitch or your the perfect project. Sometimes the best opportunities come from just that a simple introduction and like a quick chat between sessions.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I'd also say don't underestimate the value of showing up as yourself, because we're all storytellers, but like we all tell stories very uniquely. And so be genuine and especially about the types of stories that you care about telling. And Screen Forever is really about building relationships. So, and those relationships can grow into collaborations over time. So, just to kind of expand on what Navid was saying, like I went in there with two projects that were ready to pitch and to go forward, and they it was great. It was like the conversations were great, and we were able to get a distributor attached, but it was the other stuff that was slightly not, like, a little bit underdeveloped, that I got them like some stuff, like some interest in. So always, like, it may be no for these two things, but what you often get, well, what else have you got? Because that might be aligned with what they're looking for. And even when you're talking about relationships, because I just happened to have lunch next to a production team, and we were just having a chat and laughing. We weren't talking business at all. That then led to me joining their writers' room a couple of months later, because they just wanted that energy in the room
And you
as
had a
well. So,
connection, right? You
and
had
had
a
a
human
connection.
connection. You
Yeah.
realized that there was synchronicity in the stories you love to tell,
Yep.
and that sticks and that resonates. So
It does.
such great
Yeah.
advice, and that little nod to the idea of, have more ideas in your pocket. Like, don't get fixated on the one thing. Like, obviously people come in with motivated kind of, this is the top
Yeah.
of my list, the one I'm really, but have more in your pocket, because they might be the one that lights the fire, so to speak.
That's it. Yeah, most definitely.
So I think we're at time. Am I at time?
Indeed. Thank you so much, you guys. That was
Thank you,
so
Chantal
wonderful.
and Manu.
Really
Thank you so
appreciate
much.
it.
Absolute pleasure. And it's lovely to see all the questions coming through. So thanks for asking questions, everyone.
Thank you.
Over to you.
A couple of things I was just going to add in there is, as someone who's sat on the other side of the table taking many pictures over the years, one thing that never really works is people setting up laptops and trying to play things back, and sound's always a
Yeah.
problem. Like, just leave all the stuff. Don't bring all the sheets of paper. Just be you, bring yourself to the story, and just have a conversation. Focus
Yep.
on the conversation, focus on the relationship, and even if you are pitching, still make that your number one priority, and number two is the pitch, and leave all the stuff out of it, because it just always ends up becoming awkward, or someone banging their head in a bit of paper. Just have a conversation. That's my
Yeah.
I was going to say, be clear about where you're meeting people too, because it is a big venue, and if you say the cafe, it's a big cafe, and you lose meeting time by trying to find people. Sometimes I've lost the whole meeting because I couldn't find someone in the space. Yeah, there's a lot of people around.
There's a lot of people in one
If you have time to do a bit of a recce before it starts, you'll get a sense of the time it takes to travel around. It can be
Really good
deceptive.
idea.
Yeah. Maps can be deceptive about the actual walking time.
All right. Are there any last questions that we haven't missed, please, that we have missed, or you haven't had an opportunity to say? Please just add them into the Q&A now. Do have a look at the website. There is loads of info on the website. Don't, just get stuck in and poke around and have a look at the program and start working out your plan and start talking to people that you'd like to meet with. Have a look at the registration. If you have any questions, we are absolutely here to help. Andrew's going to pop up a link to how to get in contact with us. So there are a few options there, and we will absolutely be there to answer any questions you have. And if you're on the ground, there will be lots of volunteers around who, please don't be afraid to grab someone and ask. That is their job. That's what they're there for. I have very much appreciated this wonderful group of people who have given their time and their expertise and their experience today to this conversation. Thank you to Karina Libby from the Marketplace team. Thank you to Krista Jordan from Afters, Chantal Ketchell and Naveed Bahadori, our alumni from Ones to Watch. Thank you to Marissa McDowell, and thank you to Andrew for keeping us on track. Looking forward to seeing you on the Gold Coast very soon, everyone.
Thank you to you, Kristen.
Bye.